from the Lord, brothers and sisters, I got a message from the Lord.
An elder from Alwa had a vision. A black cloud was coming across the land and settling, and it was making people sick. They were going to the hospital, not understanding why they were so sick or even dying. It is our responsibility to prevent this from happening. We have a duty to protect the elders, the women, and the children. It is our shared responsibility to take care of the earth. We are Mother Earth people, the red, the black, the white, the yellow. We all have the duty. We all have the responsibility. We have to come together and unite in order to protect the earth.
Scripture tells us that the blind shall see and the deaf shall hear. We pray for that to happen on this journey. For those who are blind to the plight of the land and the people of the land, that their eyes shall be opened. That those who are deaf to the cries of Mother Earth will hear, and that they will change, and they will work towards healing and restoration. In your wisdom, Great Spirit,
guide us journey on the great path.
We ask, Creator, for the wisdom of prior generations to go with this journey, to go with this poll, to go with those who are on this journey. Give them wisdom, give them courage, and give them your spirit. In your great wisdom, Great Spirit,
Guide this journey on the great path.
Creator, we ask for you to give healing powers to this healing totem pole and to those who go on this journey. Give them courage, give them integrity, give them peace, give them safe passage. And we ask that their work will help bring an end to the greed-driven extraction of fossil fuels. We ask also that this journey will give courage to those of us who are dependent on those fossil fuels, and that we will commit to reducing our dependence on fossil fuels. It is not ours to take. We pray that this poll will help us realize that and change our own ways. In your wisdom, Great Spirit,
Guide us journey on the great path.
And finally, Creator, we give thanks for all those who gathered here. May we be agents of change. May people who see this totem pole be prompted to action. May you give strength to those who journey with this pole when their strength wanes. And may things change. May things change. In your wisdom, Great Spirit,
Guide this journey on the great path.
Doug James, let's go! James Leader, let's go! Where are you? Yeah, these guys are going to be left at the next rest stop.
This is my 5th totem pole journey with the House of Tears Carvers. My traditional name is Sulcata. Most people know me as Freddie Lane. 22 days doesn't seem like a long time, but I take pride in my small part in keeping up with the team. You can usually catch me in reflections holding a camera.
We will catch you on the other end.
I turned it off.
Day 1.
Day 1. God bless you all and wish us the best. Keep praying for us.
We're leaving the Lummi Reservation. A lot of people gather here to send us off. The interfaith community, Sierra Club, a lot of concerned citizens and students came out here to support us and send us off. We're really proud that we have the support and the guidance and the energy of Dr. Kurt Russo. You know, a lot of people don't know he's a Vietnam veteran, very well educated. He has one of the biggest hearts I know. I've been working with him for over 30 years. We've fought to protect the environment on different continents. We've traveled and supported indigenous movements. And he's the scout for this journey. And he raises the funds to help make sure it all happens. With his logical brain, we're able to schedule almost every stop to a point. As you can see, there's a coal train going right through this town here of Billings, Montana. And this is part of the problem we're talking about. They're going right through populated areas, a lot of arsenic and mercury and the dust that flies off, the particulates. It's depositing coal all around, all the way to the ocean, and it's going to be loaded if they get their way. Anyway, this is a totem pole journey against the coal trains and the tar sands oil. Both of them are very destructive to the earth, and we just hope that people will unite. We need the non-government organizations, we need the interfaith community, we need those teenagers that are in colleges to take active roles in the battle to save the earth. We're hoping that Yankton Sioux and the Colvilles and the Yakimas and the Nez Perce and all the Salish tribes will continue to work with the First Nations of Canada to protect the earth. So let's warrior up. Let's unite. This is unacceptable. It's time to change our ways and save the earth.
So brother, hey, it's beautiful to be here in your territory here. Just ask you to share a few words here if you could with some young people that might be watching.
Today is a history-making day because our relations from the Lummi tribe have traveled here, and I'm a spiritual leader for the Yankton Sioux tribe, and my tribe asked me to come and pray today. My name is English name is Galen Drappel. My Indian name is Tatanka Itkancha, which means buffalo leader. And today I am truly honored to come into this circle to pray with these relatives, and we have future generations that we're beginning to think about, just like our ancestors did. 7 generations ago, they thought about us, our 7th generation that is here today, now. And now it's our turn to look ahead to 7 generations. And I want to say to the young people of our nation, stand up, strong. Don't be afraid. Fight for Mother Earth and fight for future generations. As long as you follow your heart, you'll always go in the right direction. So I want to say that much. Pidamaya.
Thanks, brother. Thank you for being here.
There one year to shop pair wana iwo ungdaka kapi Dakota Nakota Oyate Yankton der Dakushicha Upi Kapi Yunkan der Keystone Pipeline Woshichak da Kapi ga mini wichoni ki he Yushichak da heche iknunakji It's been 6 years now since we were faced with the realization that something threatening had come to our land. And we know this over the years because we've dealt with threats. But the threat that came lately was the threat to our water, the mini Wichoni, which is the water of life. And so we've laid down many, many prayers. We've had meetings. And once we laid down the prayers, the Spirit began to move. And we feel like that Spirit has connected with the Lummi Nation, and they became signers of our Woapi, our treaty, Woapi Suta, and we have joined as a common people coming together as allies and relatives defending all of our grandchildren, and that we pray for goodness, we pray for health, we pray for this battle to be in our favor because we have to do this in order for our grandchildren to survive.
Hey Tom, nice to meet you. Thanks for being here with the Totem Pole Journey. It's our first stop. Where are you from and why are you here?
Yeah, my name's Tom Janung, and basically you would call me a landowner from Nebraska and involved with the Cowboy and Indian Alliance, which I take a great pride in from the standpoint of the coalition building, and it's not just a novelty in my mind, it's a very important aspect of the strengthening of the alliances that need to come together to defeat things like the Trans-Canada Pipeline in this part of the country and take care of things as far as the coal mining and those kinds of things that the fight goes on in different parts of the country in the Northwest and other kinds of pipelines in other parts of the country and really to take care of this sacred ground that we get to occupy this short length of time that we're alive, and it's just very important to come together. I had no idea that I would have the opportunity in my lifetime to be standing here with Native Americans, you know, talking about the same things, working for the same effort, and you know, just experiencing all these get-togethers and all these sacred times to pray together and join forces.
I come from the Osheti Shakoi. Of the Osheti Shakoi, I belong to the Teton Tawan, the Lakota people. Of the Lakota people, I belong to the Oglala and Minikosha and Ikdazikjo. I come here today, my relatives, in support of all of you. We are fighting this pipeline. We are protecting our children. I am a warrior, and I'm standing up for my children. I'm upholding my responsibility to the next 7 generations. I stand here and beside each and one of you as we fight this pipeline. A couple weeks ago in July, me and my friend, there was a pipeline coming, and I was coming from our Sundance. And I said, there's a pipeline coming. So we called 45 minutes ahead of time to the tribal police, and they didn't do anything. So we stopped them at 2 miles from Ikabute, and we tried to stop this truck because in our resolutions it says that these trucks need to turn around and go back where they entered our reservation. So they didn't stop, so we went into town, and my friend drove in front of them, and they stopped this truck. And then I drove behind them, and I had my children, because I believe in nonviolent direct action. So I had my children with me. And so we got out, and within like a couple seconds, the city police pulled up, and he was yelling at, "You don't have the right to stop these trucks." Just hollering at us. And you're endangering these children. And then 15 seconds, 6 units, our tribal police pulled up. they came up and they started saying all kinds of stuff to us that we don't have time to turn these trucks around. Just one of you can turn this truck around. And so we were telling them about the resolutions, and our own tribal police don't even know about the resolutions. So they were arguing with us, and they kept saying, "Where's your badge? Where's your badge to turn this around? You don't have a badge?" All I told them, I said, "I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior of this earth. That is my badge." So then this cop comes up and says, "Are you drunk?" I was like, "No." I said, "Would a drunk person be coming up here talking about sovereignty, you're talking about our sacred water?"
You got coal, you got uranium mining, you got all these pipelines, you got everything that we're doing. You know, like my kola would always tell me, he'll say, "Look at all the things we're doing to Mother Earth. What are we going to do when Mother Earth actually wants to cleanse or something? You know, what are we all going to do?" Because it's probably going to come to that point sooner or later. If we keep taking from her, taking and taking and taking, we ain't giving nothing back.
The deal that we face here, I think it's the same thing that every nation faces, and like decisions. And I'm very grateful and thankful, and I'm very honored that the Lummi Nation came to our reservation, because to feel another person's culture and their tradition and the songs that they bring and their prayers with us helps us to unite as one heart, one mind, and keep us guys all on the same page so that we don't have to live in corruption and live into the things that poison our people. I feel very strong that this totem pole that was brought with the Lummi Nation sends a very strong message to every nation, because a lot of us are facing plagues that are going to bring death and destruction to all of our nations, especially our people. And a lot of us are standing up so that we don't have that same thing happening to our children, our grandchildren, and the generations to come after, so that we can ensure a future. No matter what race, color, or creed we are, I think we're all coming together on the same plane.
Today you're still able to play in the river. Tomorrow it may be dead. Help the Sioux Nation protect the river.
Well, today I think I had a deeper understanding, a deeper commitment instilled in me today. After talking with Jewel, I've always known that we should protect our water and protect our future for our children and our grandchildren and the future generations. But to hear it from somebody I have never met, the theory and the idea of unity and doing everything with your heart and your mind and your soul and your spirit, to me that was really impressive, and I'm just ever so grateful for them and the work that, well, you guys and the work you guys are doing. That it just means a lot to me that we can all come together from different races, different backgrounds, different values, different socioeconomic statuses, and together to save our water.
We know that the impacts of coal exports start in a big part here and in Wyoming, and they touch everyone, all the way to the coast and all the way across the ocean. And I think it's important that everybody in each community along the way understand that in some ways they're part of that, and in many ways they're impacted by that. And in Billings, for example, we know we're going to suffer some direct impacts if the export of coal increases. I mean, for us it may be as simple as increased rail traffic, increased coal dust along the railways, etc. So I think it's important that you guys are starting and you're making that same route and just kind of re-emphasizing and raising awareness of people that there is an issue here to be dealt with.
For me it means if I don't speak up today for our grandkids and future kids of theirs, who's going to speak up? If I don't speak up today, I will be sorry I did. And if I don't speak up for the protection of our land and water and air, I will be sorry. I'll be sitting there wondering, why didn't I speak up? And that's what my grandkids would probably say. Grandma, you had all the chance in the world to speak up, you should have. So that's why I do it today, so they can have good clean air, good clean water, good land to live on. That's my legacy that I want to pass on to them.
So they're destroying our very source of life. And us Blackfeet people, we say, Igakiman. That means try hard. So I think, excuse me, We as a people, we have to come together to continue to try hard. The tears I cry are not of sadness, but of happiness and of seeing people try hard every day. And we as Native people, we have had to continue to be warriors every single day of our life. From the moment we wake up, from the prayers I say, I ask the Creator to help me be strong, help me hear good things, say good things, and do good things. And that's the thing that what a warrior means to me. It's protecting my people, helping my people overcome the battles of addiction and of these ugly monsters. They're heartless, they're humanless, they're faceless, and they want to come in and destroy our water for a little bit of money, for a little bit of time, and not thinking about what this leaves for our children. I just, every day, come on, try hard. And that's the only way that we'll be able to continue to do this. You know, we might not make a change in my lifetime, but I hope it changes in my grandchild and my children's lifetime.
We're here to support the Lummi on their totem pole journey with our presence, our prayers, and our resources. This is a journey to raise up the voice of all those threatened by fossil fuel transportation, whether by rail or ship and export terminals or pipeline, a journey to safeguard the traditional lands, waters, and sacred sites of tribes and First Nations.
One time, my aunt was sitting in the home, our longhouse, and she had this look because the sweat was coming off her. And she says, "Oh, it's hard to be Indian." She looked around her and the Ruths were there and they were cleaning them, preparing them for the dinner that was coming. She said, all the work we put into this, our sweat, our tears, whatever, helps us know the value and how this ties us to our earth. Anything that comes from this earth then is a gift to us, but we have to work for it. And we help, and it gives us this nourishment and this strength back.
I feel so much coming from the earth, and it really just supports and sustains us. Ultimately, we are the earth, the air, the fire, the water. That's what we are. And if we can't have clean water and clean air and clean land and energy, then we can't exist, and we can't be happy and healthy and just the same as any other being on this planet.
Water is shown to be of greater importance and leads off those items of food that we take in. Water sustains us. It makes up a greater part of our body. It is out there, and they often call it the life giver. So we honor the water in that way, and it has all this abundance around it. The fish and all of the plants and animals sustain themselves by this water, and that's how we honor it as well.
We understand that as we stand individually as nations, our voices are strong. Yet it is critical and crucial to know that today's fight, we have to be able to understand and become aware of what's happening with Lummi Nation, what's happening with the tar sands, what's happening up in Vancouver, and what's happening throughout the land with regard to the Lakota Aquifer, with regard to the fights that are going on in the Midwest, into the East, into the Southwest, into the Southeast. All the fights that are happening across the land with regard to those who are manipulating the powers that be for the mighty dollar, what it comes down to.
Historically, we've always been landlords. We've always been the caretakers. And that was the assignment that the Great Spirit gave to us. And so we've always looked upon those duties and responsibilities in a very sacred manner. And so when we see the violators violating those doctrines of environmental health, and then we become very concerned, and we speak out against them. And we've been speaking out against this for over 300 years now. The destruction has been going on. You know, I can say 500 years, but at least for the last 300 years, the industrialization of America began, and the coal and burning the coal. In May of 1969, the Cayuga River in Cleveland, it became on fire, and the Rio Porco incident where millions of gallons of toxic waste was overflowed into the Rio Porco River, killing cattle, sheep, horses, and even humans were affected by it. So when we see the Columbia River in danger, when we see Mother Earth in danger, then we must say something. We have to speak out.
It is to take care of our children. It is to take care of all the native ways of doing things. That is what we are doing. We have an obligation to do so. And when we become aware of what's going on around us, we will understand the importance of why being a warrior is necessary. Whether you are a man, a woman, an elder, a child, as you become aware of what's going on. But I talk to you men, it's time to step up and protect our elders, to protect our women, to protect our children, because we have no choice. We have no choice but to fight for the things that are right in this world, for the things that are right. And the very essence and irony of it all, it is that through our unwritten way of life, through the ancestors that we had, and through the unwritten teachings that have come about, those things have the very same message and the very essence of that. It's about understanding and remembering who we are collectively as a people, where we come from. And in doing so, we will have an understanding of what we need to stand for today. Being a warrior is crucial to that.
The young people need to do that because, as Joel James says, God created this earth, and if you go to heaven, God may be ready to say to you, that was all you had is what I gave you before. Why did you destroy it? And that's part of the philosophy that, young people have to learn and know, that this is, even for the moment, the only earth they have, and it's necessary to protect it. And it's being destroyed in great degrees every day, from the waters to the oceans to the air. You talk about an environmental movement, but you need an environmental revolution at this time to just save what's being destroyed so quickly. And in each of our lifetimes, you have to recognize a fact of global warming, climate change. And just because there's a great blizzard doesn't mean the temperatures aren't rising. What global warming and climate change means is that you're going to go through great extremes rather than have your stable environment, your stable weather. And so, everyone has to become involved. It means life itself.
It seems like people who have come from other countries don't understand is how people can feel free to pave over and to build over ancestral burial grounds, ancestral villages. It's just impossible to understand how anybody could think like that, because we don't do that to our own people. We don't put a Walmart over a cemetery. We don't put an oil line over a cemetery. We don't put a refining plant right on top of an ancient village and an ancient cemetery. It's impossible to understand something like that. But the bones are there. They don't lie. The people's bones are there. Hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years are there. And there's no way that it's right to ignore that, as if that isn't there, if that isn't true.
Before we left the United States, we went over to San Juan Island to an old village site. It's by Roach Harbor. It's English camp. Stephanie Buffum and Friends of the San Juan Island met us and they hosted us. It was a great meeting and we all made promises to protect the earth. There's a mural done by Melanie and Nadi. They came along with us on the journey and it's huge. It's called Our Painted Responsibility. And all along the journey they had people add to the art to express how they felt and believed about the earth. It's very beautiful. You have to see it to believe it.
The other thing, Fred, I wanted to say is that as we remember, we have to remember this is the home of our people, and we have to respect everything in nature that we have provided for us. We have to respect everything because it's something that our ancestors are always with us, no matter where we go or what we do. We're being shown sometimes, like from life experiences that I've had, that the ancestors will show you how to do things. Like they'll show you, they might not be alive ancestors, but you'll be guided and shown sometimes how to do things, and they'll be here guiding us because our ancestors are with us, like with not only on the land or in the trees, but our ancestors are also with us in the water. And that's the one thing that we have to remember, that part of our burial methods years ago were our people put our ancestors in the canoes on the water, and the remains of our ancestors were pushed out onto the tide. So our ancestral burial grounds are not only on the land, but they're on the water. So, like at Huichiach and at Cherry Point, our ancestors are there with us. Our ancestors are there with us, you know, while we're trying to protect the ancestral burial grounds. It's not just the water. Not just the land. It's the water also. So, besides it's our livelihood, it's our lifeline of our people. So, I just had to say that in closing about why we protect all of these things, this Chilangan, the ways of our ancestors. Because if we lose this and forget who we are, we cease to be a people.
And today it's an honor to be here to witness this beautiful and sacred healing pole that will travel here to the tar sands in our homelands. We have a prophecy which speaks of a time when the sacred water will turn black and the animals will die, and fish will die, and birds will fall from the sky. Right now this is happening in the tar sands. What we see at home in the tar sands is the destruction of the pristine boreal forests, which is our homeland, and also the homeland for many animals, many birds, many migratory birds. It's a pristine, beautiful boreal forest that I grew up in, and every time when I go home, what I see is more and more destruction of our traditional lands, more pollution to our air, and more contamination to our water. We see in the tar sands surface mines as big as entire cities. This is the type of destruction that we're talking about. And with this comes elevated rates of cancers, asthma, emphysema, with all of our families being impacted by one of these. We can no longer harvest traditional medicines, pick berries from the land, and when we do it in fear. We do it in fear of contamination to these animals, to the berries, and to the medicines. Many people, like Jules have said, had found fish with tumors on them. My dad, who's a hunter, has found tumors in the carcass of a moose, you know, with yellow insides and tumors. And also back home where I come from, there was a massive oil spill, which is why I campaign so much against tar sands and against oil spill, and why I come to communities and talk about what happened to our family and the community back home when 4.5 million liters had leaked into our traditional territory, spilling across our traditional territory. How we found out about this was my auntie who works at the school sent me text messages saying, I can't breathe, the children can't breathe, we have headaches, we're feeling nauseous, our eyes are burning. Do you know what this is? Because she knew of the type of work that I do. But we didn't know what it was. We didn't know until 5 days later after the Harper government was elected in for the second time. Then they finally released it to the community what it was. It was one of the biggest oil spills in Alberta's history. And it leaked onto our land, and we know that this land will never be the same. And I fear that this will happen along the Kinder Morgan pipeline route, along the Enbridge pipeline route. And that's why I speak out against it so much.
We traveled the pipeline. We traveled to the First Nations communities along that pipeline to ask them, like I'm asking you here today, to stand up and to share your voice, to voice your concerns. We as human beings have a right to clean air, to clean water. We understand the work that our grandparents have done, and our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents, all those ancestors before us. They looked after the lands and waters because they knew we were coming. We understand what our sacred obligation is, our sacred trust. And that's why we call ourselves the Sacred Trust Initiative. We take this responsibility seriously. And we ask you, I challenge you out there to go home tonight and tell 5 people, or go back to work next week and tell 5 people what you witnessed here today. The reason you came here today, and ask them to share that with 5 more people. Because the only way we are going to make change, and the only way we are going to stop this, is together.
What struck me was how universal the story is. I heard First Nations people speaking of the same things that matter to me as a parent, the same things that matter to me as a citizen, the same things that matter to me as somebody who has loved ones. The deep-rooted conviction to do right by other people we care about is universal. It doesn't know about borders, it doesn't know cultural differences. I mean, we're hardwired as humans to care about each other, and that came through loud and clear in the people I heard speaking today. I was in tears, actually, listening to the things that people articulated about their concerns and how they're going about taking care of the people they love.
Well, our mothers are a direct reflection of the power of Mother Earth, because they give life. Mother Earth gives us life. Without Mother Earth, we have nothing. Without our mothers, we're nothing. You know, we as men, you know, we can protect, we can defend, but when the final thing comes down, life is issued generation after generation from our beloved women, who are a reflection of each of us as well, because we all have that, all those dimensions, from being very kind and gentle and soft to being very strong. And so that's why I always say, when we get to be an elder, and we say that elder is so kind and compassionate, strong and courageous, who are we talking about, a man or a woman? Because ultimately we are all spiritual beings. And so I think that part of this is recognizing, Toshka, that there's one eagle of humanity, man and woman, both wings. And both wings must have equal respect and honor for the eagle of humanity to fly its highest. And so that's why what you're doing for our mother is doing for all life.
I don't care whether you're in Inuit or if you're down here in Vancouver. The fact remains that everywhere in this world, Indigenous people are being challenged by their traditional ways of living, by their cultural and spiritual beliefs. And we eventually get connected. And it might not necessarily be physically, and it might not happen on the schedule that we think should happen. This is the Creator's agenda. What is important is that we do the work. We live responsibly. We live with honor, and we live with respect. And I'm starting to get mushy. And we live the truth that the Creator gave us. So that the intention of caring and respecting Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandfather Sun, and Grandmother Moon, and all living things that we are connected to. That's part of who we are. It shouldn't be, on Sunday, I'm going to not harm anything, or I'm not going to pollute the water. It's not a part-time job. It has to be part of who we are.
O siam siait siocha, Yuan Harten Squallens, Nith Ansas Viam, Nith Quis Hatch, das no Eier, das Kohomisch Min Hams, Nith das Dalmach, Min Hams Amen, Yuan Harten Squallens, Quis Quatch, das Chetuch, Aniem Squallens, Quis Chais, the Tomeuch, Nachaus, Slakum, the Squall, Tit Sits, Menwau Chit, Yem Squallens, Quis Hatch, Yem Squallens, das no Eier, das Dalmach, Siam Siait, it's a Siochwa. Yuan Harten Squallens, Menwau Chit, Yem Squallens, the Noyaps, das Dalmach, Hartquist Temas, Siam Siait.
Well, I mean, I think for a lot of people, it takes something to make you wake up. You know, and for a lot of people, that's when something happens right in your backyard, in your own community. Some people say that's NIMBYism, not in my backyard. I think for a lot of people, it's really just a wake-up call. It's a realization that, you know, that there's something important going on, that you're connected to something bigger than yourself, bigger than just your community. And, you know, and a lot of the times what I see is, you know, something happens in your own backyard, people wake up to it, but they learn a lot about the outside world and get more involved in their community and the world in general as a result. You know, I think it's a shame that not more people care and get involved, but truth is that, you know, change really comes from the grassroots, usually from small groups of people. And, you know, they say sometimes that we only preach to the choir in environmentalism or in activist circles, but you know, an old teacher of mine once said the choir is who you're supposed to talk to because they're the one who go out and do the singing for you. And the truth is that, you know, that these communities are growing all the time. If you look here in the west coast of Canada and British Columbia, Coast Salish territories and other traditional territories of First Nations people, these issues around pipelines have brought people together like nothing ever has. You know, these pipelines are so unpopular, something like 60 to 80% of the population is against them in BC. And First Nations have come together in a way that, you know, I go to gatherings and I hear people thanking our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, for bringing folks together who, you know, spent many years fighting against each other, whether it be in court or even before contact many years ago. You know, long histories of conflict being wiped away by recognition of an even bigger foe. So I think this is a time where a lot of change is happening, where a lot of people are coming together in ways that they never have before. And you know, and I think it is both a blessing and a curse, and really a responsibility when we're faced with these kinds of threats in our communities. It gives us a chance to learn and to grow and to become stronger, you know, as individuals, to warrior up as Ta'a. Reuben George's his mom here says, you know, she tells us all to warrior up, and I think that's you know, really a responsibility we should all take real serious.
Just in the colonial state of mind, it all has to do with the rich getting richer and leave the poor and to the sidelines. And whether that be our Holomoth people or your average citizen of our countries, we have to just warrior up, like Ta'a says, warrior up. And if that means coming together to an event like this, supporting, educating, then that's what we need to do, because they keep saying that it's going to go forward, it's going to go forward, it's going to go forward, but just as strong on opposition is our people saying, no, it's not, no, it's not. So I think people are in fear of corporate structure and the power they have, but I think in the end it's the land that decides. It's going to be our land that's going to speak the loudest.
It's important for us to come and also not just only show support for our Beaver Lake Cree, but also to support you and let you know that you're not standing alone in this battle. On behalf of my brother here, who's the master carver of this, we thank you. We thank you for this opportunity to come and share a prayer with you, to help solidify our relationships with one another. Our relations have traveled up here. My grandfather, as Chief Dan George, is related to my brother, and he, in his hearts of hearts, even though he's born on the water, he was a cowboy. He loved horses, and he used to come up here a lot and visit with your elders, and So we're re-solidifying our relationship with one another, and thank you for the blessing on this pole. It traveled all the way from South Dakota. It started in the territory of my brother in Lummi, just across the border, and from Vancouver, and it started in South Dakota, and it came all the way through to Seattle. Now it's going all the way up to Alberta. So on behalf of my brother and his wife and his grandbaby and all my family that are here today, we're very, very appreciative that we could come and share a prayer with you, and thank you for blessing my brother's great work here. That's going to signify our nations coming together, all across from Montana, all the way up here to the Alberta Cree.
I have grandchildren, and my beautiful grandchildren, I take them out onto the land. I want them to know the clean water. I want them to taste the fish. I want them to have good berries. And I show them all the medicines that I know that are going to help us. And I want them to know that. And that's really important to me. My youngest grandson is 7, and I know when I get up every morning, I pray for my grandkids, all my grandchildren, and I pray for the ones that are yet to come. I pray that they'll be able to have the freedom to walk on Mother Earth and to gather from Mother Earth, to get strength from all the medicines that she provides for us. And I feel that with Kinder Morgan coming through our territory and with the expansion of the pipelines, that it's going to be a tough fight, but I know that we can do it. I know that we were here and we lived on our land, we lived on the medicines, you know, and to me I just want my grandkids and all my grandkids and the ones that are yet to come, I want them to know that how sacred our land is.
Hey, 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 yah-hee-yo, yah-hee-yo, hey, hey, yah-hee-yo, yah-hee-yo, hey, yah-hee-yo.
I think we all have to unite. You know, like they say, you put a bundle of sticks together in one big bunch, they won't break. That's what Tecumseh said. Said you put together, one stick will break, but if you put all these twigs together, you make a very strong bond. And I think all of our people need to unite for a cause like that, to protect the Mother Earth, because that's who nurtures us. And like I said before, you know, the earth doesn't belong to us, we belong to the earth. And we need to get that in our heads and realize that, you know, this isn't infinite. It's very finite, because the earth is a living thing, and the more we injure her, the more we hurt her, we're going to kill her.
In the Yellow Nation, their element is air. In the west is water, and in the north is fire, the white race. Our element is the earth, not this little piece of earth we live on, but the whole planet Earth. That's our element. Because of oppression and genocide, we haven't been able to take care of our mother, and it's up to. I feel like it's up to myself. I feel it's up to the up and coming generations and the ones living now to carry that responsibility and protect our mother, because no one else is going to.
The greatest sin is when there's evil being conducted in the earth and good men do nothing. We need to be good people and do something. We need to protect the earth. We need to protect the animals. They have no voice. We are the voice for these animals. You know, the stereotype of the Indian as being a steward of the earth, well, we need to step up and do that. We need to take care of our Mother Earth and our environment. Because if we don't have that, you know, we won't have these nice trees. We're just going to have a bunch of concrete buildings that really contribute nothing. We need, and what we're doing now is to some extent, we're not contributing anything. We need to do that. We need to get involved. We need to get involved in causes that affect us.
I feel very honored to have been part of this event and to have met the incredible people and been a part of this incredible journey. It is such a blessing, and I'm so proud that I could be involved. It's an incredible message that they're bringing across the country and across the states as well. Those pipelines are going to be detrimental, and they don't make any sense. If a company, any other company, if they had the track record that oil companies had, they would be out of business. But for some reason, we're still subsidizing the oil industry when we really should be subsidizing our own people.
What an awesome, awesome day just to stand there and see the daughter of Chief Dan George share those words. That was so beautiful.
Powerful, yeah. We're really happy that the Lummi Nation came and the Tsleil-Waututh Nation came here into Treaty 6 territory and Cree traditional territory where we currently are today. Right behind me here is the Alberta Legislature, which is where a lot of the provincial decisions are made, which relates to tar sands permits. So a lot of decisions are made here which impact our traditional territories all over Alberta in Treaty 8 and Treaty 6. Myself, I'm a member of the Lubicon Cree First Nation, which is impacted by tar sands extraction in the Peace region. And we're really excited to see something significant like this come through the territories because it shows that we're not alone in our fight against and stopping tar sands extraction. We know that there's a lot of impacted communities along the pipeline infrastructure like Kinder Morgan, and we think it's so important that our communities come together as one and come and show nation and nation solidarity. So that's what we did here today. We really spoke to the province and we spoke to a lot of local mainstream media to let them know that this pipeline project is has a lot of resistance against it, as well as we need to stop the tar sands at the source in our traditional territories. So grateful that you all came out today.
Just wanted to stop and let people know why we're here.
Yeah, we're heading up to Beaver Lake Cree, and we're on Highway 28, heading north. We're going to go up and do a sweat at noon, but we come across the pipeline that's being laid to transport the oil cross country. We're in Alberta right now, and you can see it's going to be stretching straight across from here. But our elders is going to stop and say a prayer because these pipelines, even though they say they're well welded, they break constantly, and like on a regular basis. And so they're just praying there.
Our mother is a living entity. Our Mother Earth is a living entity, and it belongs to all living things. Every single tree, every blade of grass, every four-legged that walks, the rooted family. It belongs to all of us. And I was taught that from a little girl. So when people start fencing in properties, selling properties, and I remember we used to say, our mother's not for sale.
Today here on the Beaver Lake Cree Nation in Treaty 6 territory, we witnessed the raising of the totem pole. We witnessed the end of the totem pole journey that we've been hearing so much about through social media and through media. And so for me, myself, beyond the symbolic gesture of this totem pole and what we witnessed in the raising of that and the unveiling of that, I witnessed true and honest solidarity. We're always parading around talking about solidarity. And I always say, we'll prove it. Stop talking about it.
What we witnessed today was genuine and authentic acts of community. This is what community is about. you don't necessarily have to be from the same community to build community. And as our brothers and sisters from Lummi Nation from the south have shown us, they've traveled over 8,000 kilometers up here with a totem pole to show that solidarity and that meaning of community. And as Anishinaabe Kwe, community and family is so imperative, and it's so important to who we are and our identity as Anishinaabe and Anishinaabe Kwe. And to have that support from our brothers and sisters from the south and from the north, from the east and the west, it doesn't matter the color of the skin, where you come from, your class, we're all in this together as human beings. We're all in this together to protect our sacred waters, to protect our sacred land, and most importantly, to support and protect one another. So, hai miigwech for the Lummi Nation, for the totem pole carvers, Jewel James, for his beautiful wife Ramona, and for their sweet little baby Nikita, and to all the travelers who have come up here to Treaty 6 territory. I'm not originally from here. I'm also a guest on this territory as well, but I have to say miigwech, hai from the bottom of our hearts for this act of generosity and this beautiful act of community.
The Lummi people, and to Jewel and his wife and his family, the people that touched that pole and carved it. I'm grateful and thankful to you all. You brought hope to this community, to our people, to Treaty 6 territory. You brought hope to people that struggle in wanting to give up. I think about it all the time, in this work that I do. And this totem pole is that reminder. So every time I see her sitting there in her beauty and grace, and I look to my children, I know that I can't quit. Hagamemo, we say to persevere. And that's what this totem pole is for me. And I hope for people here. I know that some of the elders said that. So it brought that fight back that I needed, and I know that some of our people needed. So.
O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives life to the world, hear me. I come to you as one of your many children. I am small and weak. I need your strength and your wisdom. May I walk in beauty. Make my eyes ever behold the red and the purple sunset. Make me wise so that I may know the things that you have taught your children, the lessons that you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Make me strong not to feel superior to my brothers, but to be able to fight my greatest enemy, myself, so that when life fades, as the fading sunset, my spirit will come to you without shame.
Lummi Nation, standing together too.
Warrior up!
It's like Akamak. So,
Stallium, Stalewachut, and Lummi, we are here to
Lummi Nation to Stalewachut Nation.
Warrior up!
First I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. Now with me watching, you may drive a big machine. I was born a great big woman, and you can't just take my dreams away. Without me fighting, this old mountain raised my daughters. Some are dead, some are still living. If you came here to take our mountain where we ain't coming here to give it. I was born on this mountain, and I'm my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. No, you can't just take my dreams away. No, you can't just take my dreams away. No, you won't take my dreams away. I have dreamed on those mountains since first I was my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. Now with me watching, you may drive a big machine. I was born a great big woman, and you can't just take my dreams away. Without me fighting, this old mountain raised many daughters. Some are gone, some are still living. If you came here to take our mountain, well, we ain't coming here to give it. I was born on this mountain, and I am my mother's daughter, and you can't just take my dreams away. No, you can't just take my dreams away. No, you can't just take my dreams away. No, you won't take my dreams away.
Lawakantanka, Creator of the universe, most beloved one, all-powerful one, most kind one, most compassionate, ever forgiving one. We just give thanksgiving with all our heart and our soul and our being for all the gifts and kindness and compassion and prophecies and teachings and elders and inspiration and strength that you've given to each and every one of us. And just give thanksgiving for this beloved Mother Earth we stand on tonight, for this beautiful fresh air we breathe into our lungs, and for the complete faith to know that we will, as represented by this totem pole journey, have complete victory over those materialistic forces that we're facing. Haulimi chante washtelo, shunk mano he meyedo, chinupa sapa he meyedo, haulimi chante washte.